legit. Anything you want.
Then reset. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about the Patriots. Now, the New England Patriots, they're not the only Patriots winning at the moment. Our Patriot-in-Chief, Donald Trump, is winning a few carries as he goes into his own third quarter. As we approach the end zone of his presidency, a few things stand out. Record low unemployment, the stock market reaching its high level ever, the first major tax reform in over 30 years, and the lowest jobless claims since 1973. Yes, that's 46 years. Now, that's worth celebrating, and that's what Noble Gold has done. They've commissioned the stunning President Trump 2020 Freedom Coins. You can get these in 0.999% fine solid silver and even 24-karat solid gold. You can put them in your IRA, 401k rollover, or you can display them in your home or office in this stylish presentation box along with their certificate of authenticity. I know the last one sold out, so if you want to touch down on these, you better start running. Noble Gold is running a special offer. If you buy 3 coins, use the code X22 to get free shipping. Just click on the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we're in a central bank economy, and we know that this economy that we're in today, which started in 1913, it can't go anywhere because the entire plan is to put everyone to debt, put the countries into debt, put the globe into debt. This has been their plan since the beginning. And the central bank economy, well, it is planned out to fail after a certain period of time. Trump knows this. Trump has been talking about bubbles. Trump has been talking about the stock market. He's been talking about this before he became president because he knows that this economy can't move forward. When he came into the presidency, he said, you know something? We need to use their tools against them. And we need to show that the economy is strong because they know that their plan was to show that this economy is falling apart, and it's because of what Trump has been doing. And we know this is not true at all. This is why we've been following the economy. This is why we've been delving into the numbers, not the mainstream media numbers, not the fake statistics. We've been looking at what has really been happening, and we know this whole thing's built on an illusion. So does Trump, so do the Patriots. But how do you bring down a system that doesn't work? Well, you drive it to the edge, and you drive over the edge where it destroys itself. And this is what we see happening right now, which we're going to be discussing in just a bit. Now, we know that Obama's health care bill law that he put out there, the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, it was never there to help the people. Actually, what happened during this period of time, a lot of the exchanges went completely bankrupt. This had nothing to do with Trump. He wasn't in office at this time. A lot of people were hit with medical bills from their insurance company that were skyrocketing. They couldn't afford it. And more money you put into the insurance payments, you can't put it into the economy. And the question is, why did they push so hard for this law? Why did they want it? Well, if we go back to Q's post, it was to control the people. Think about it. The majority of the people that are on the Affordable Care Act, who get this insurance, who love it, they're getting subsidies from the government. So they either pay zero or a little bit for the health insurance. The rest comes from the government. You are then dependent on the government. The government grows. But what about the rest of the country? What about those people that are self-employed? Those people where the employer says, you know something, we don't have health insurance. Well, they have to pay for it themselves. And there's a lot of people paying for it themselves. And what they saw their insurance premiums skyrocket. Now, according to the law, this was supposed to help people so they don't go bankrupt. You know, when you get those big medical bills and you can't pay them, but guess what? It has not helped at all. And what we've seen here is that more Americans are going bankrupt under the Affordable Care Act than ever before. So a new study has found that about 530,000 families each year are financially ruined by medical bills and sicknesses. And most of the families actually had health insurance. So every year, hundreds of thousands of American families find themselves facing huge medical bills that they did not expect to be paying. And as a result, medical expenses are the primary factor in 66.5% of all personal bankruptcy filings in the United States. But Obamacare was supposed to make things better, where everyone had insurance. That's what we were told. And also everyone can keep your doctor. But this is not the case. Actually, medical bankruptcy went up by 2% after Obamacare went into effect. So this has not helped whatsoever. And during this time, many people still couldn't get health insurance. Many people couldn't afford health insurance. And those people who were paying for health insurance, their premiums continually went up and up and up. And their deductibles got larger and larger and larger, which really meant health insurance was not helping with their everyday bills. And they couldn't take this money and put it back into the economy. This was designed to hurt the American people, not help the American people. It was designed to enrich the insurance companies. It was designed to make all those people that are coming into the country illegally, and those people who are in the low income bracket or low middle class income bracket, to be dependent on the government. And this has to change. And it will change when the entire system is reset. Now, like we said in the beginning, this entire central bank economy can't go anywhere. It's stuck. Normally they would have an event. We mentioned this many times before. And what we're seeing, and we're seeing it in real time, we're seeing the actual economy, this is the central bank economy, fall apart right in front of your eyes. U.S. retail sales, they have collapsed in December. This is the biggest drop in a decade. And when you look at this, this is the biggest drop since 2009. And why is this happening? Yes, jobs are coming back, but think about how many people have been unemployed. Think about how many people who have part-time jobs. Think about all the people that had to reduce their income because they lost their high-paying job and they had to get a low-paying job. Remember, what Trump is doing right now with bringing businesses back, bringing manufacturing back, he's preparing the country for the reset. What he's doing right now is he's driving this economy to the edge. It's not his economy. It's the central bank's economy. They need to destroy it. And why do they need to destroy it? Well, think about it. We have the debt, which has reached $22 trillion. We know it's a lot more than that. We have all the unfunded liabilities and things like that. But more interestingly is that interest rates are very, very low. And we know the debt is rising. And the amount of tax receipts coming into the government, well, that's shrinking. In December, the U.S. Treasury brought in a total receipts of about $313 billion and $771 billion for the fiscal year to date, versus outlays of only $326 billion and $1.09 trillion for fiscal 2019, resulting in a deficit of $14 billion, modestly worse than the $11 billion deficit expected, and better than the 2017's December deficit of $23 billion. The not-so-good news is that for the fiscal year through December 31st, the total U.S. budget deficit was $319 billion, 40% greater than the $227 billion deficit for the prior year. And it's set to keep rising this year to $1.1 trillion. And it just gets worse from here, because when we look at total government receipts, they were $3.33 trillion. This number was 0.4% lower than the $3.344 trillion reported 1 year ago. Why is this important? Every time since at least 1970, when government receipts have turned negative on an annual basis, the U.S. was on the cusp or already in a recession. And this is why the mainstream media, this is why they're out there pushing the idea that we're going to be heading into a recession in 2020. Number one, they know that this economy is fake. It's an illusion. They also know that we've already been in a recession. The only thing they didn't count on was that Trump, well, he has the magic wand. He can keep the statistical information looking fantastic. He's using their weapons against them. But Trump, he doesn't care about optics. He's setting up a narrative. He's setting up something that he can use later on. And what is that? Well, he's driving the economy to the edge, spending as much as possible, raising the debt, and doing as much as he possibly can with that money to bring back jobs, manufacturing, and everything else back to this country. Because when it is time, Trump will allow the Fed to raise rates, the economy will crash, and Trump, during this period of time, he will be continually out there contradicting the Fed, pointing the finger at the Fed to make sure everyone understands that it is the Fed's fault. And we see already that this is where we are headed right now. Trump knows that this economy cannot last. This is not a people's economy. The economy is based on the central bank, the deep state, the petrodollar, wars in the Middle East, war around the world, bases everywhere. And he knows in the long run, this can't continue. This is why he's ending the wars. This is why he's bringing the troops home. This is why he doesn't care about the petrodollar system in the Middle East. He doesn't care who runs those countries. He doesn't care who sells the oil and in what currency form they sell it in. Because he understands and he realizes that we're going to be transitioning to something completely different. That system that was set up in 1971, that is the central bank deep state system. He could care less about that. And he's removing one piece at a time. And eventually what's going to happen, the whole thing is going to crash down. Now, what's very interesting is out in California, they are having problems. Trump actually tweeted out, California has been forced to cancel the massive bullet train project after having spent wasted many billions of dollars. They owe the federal government $3.5 billion. We want that money back now. Whole project is a green disaster. And he's pointing it out that a lot of these states, they're completely bankrupt. And what's very interesting is that Q in Post 1197 and Post 2621 always tells us to watch California. Watch California, watch California. Post 2621 in Anon says, will voter fraud in California ever be brought to light? And Q says, yes, watch California was deliberate. And I believe Q is telling us not just to watch California for voter fraud. I think Q is telling us watch California for all types of fraud and watch California completely break apart under the leadership in California. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to expose incredible fraud in this state. And I believe this is going to spread to other states. Remember, the deep state, they are just not in the federal government. They are everywhere. They're deep and wide. And this whole plan is to flush out the corruption, flush out fraud, and reset the government, reset the economy, and reset the way we do business every day and how we create currency. That's what this plan is about. It's not about an election. It's not about 4 years. It's about giving the power back to we, the people. And the part of the power is creating our own currency, not having a central bank create it for us and loan it to us. Taking back the power is creating the currency by the people with no interest attached. So that's what we're talking about here. That's what the plan is. And we have to destroy their system so we can reset it and bring in a new system. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.